Like, I can't stress that enough. Don't try to get away with it. Don't do anything. Have a conversation with your partner. So much, like, brokenheartedness, everything like that can be avoided. Absolutely. Just by you simply opening your mouth and saying, hey, I don't feel fulfilled in this sense or that sense, and try to work through it together.
Right.
If you value your partner, that's what you'll do.
Yes.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm your host, Ray.
This is Max.
And this is Drunk Words, Drunk Thoughts. We've got a little bit of advice for you today, and it's, why do people cheat?
Why do they?
Well, we're going to tell you right now. As always, I'm going to ask Max, what are you drinking today, Max? I'm
drinking the summer vacation. We're going to have a link. Where would we put that link? There, in the middle, somewhere. Anyway, and I want to teach you how to make it.
So, obviously, we can't get into anything about this topic because it pulls at the heartstrings of so many of us without first getting into how you, as the viewer, are defining cheating. I mean, I think it's a plethora of reasons. Some people are saying, oh, well, you're flirting.
Yeah.
Others are saying, oh, you're breaking our defined rules. Or you're, walking a fine line, if you will.
Liking too much like Instagram pictures.
Yeah, I mean, some people are super on that.
If you had a partner that supposedly cheated before, or confirmed that they cheated before, well, they're more prone to cheat again, so always a cheater. Well, once a cheater, always a cheater.
Yeah, I mean, that's a label that stings a lot of us, I would say. Cough, cough, not throwing myself under the bus or anything like that.
And might as well have a drink.
I mean, I haven't done it in a while, so I won't drink.
All right.
But what I will say is it's important to first drive into, as we do in most cases on this channel, our definition of it, right?
For me, it's really, really basic. It's like, you want to have your cake and eat it too. You're in a relationship, but you feel like, hey, I could go out and then try to experience some more things, although you're not necessarily allowed to.
I would say for mine it's a little different because
yes.
If we're in a club setting or something like that and all of a sudden my partner decides like she's feeling the song or feeling something and she decides to dance on somebody that isn't necessarily myself, or she decides that she wants to kiss somebody that isn't necessarily myself.
Necessarily? What do you mean necessarily?
I mean,
it's either you or not.
Yeah, it's you or not. But like for me, I wouldn't see that. I wouldn't see that as, I wouldn't even have that be a conversation. Now, Like I said, I'm a little bit more liberal than most. I know for a lot of people what I just described is like grounds for dismissal of the relationship.
Yep.
And everything like that. For me, a relationship always boils down to trust, right?
Okay.
And the biggest question is, what has this partner that I'm with done for me to not allow them to have that trust? For me to read into this scenario and think that they're trying to be sly even though they're not being sly in front of me.
I know they're catching mono from people.
Or what is it, COVID-19 now?
Yeah.
But for me, like I said, I'm a little bit more liberal when it comes to this. I think the point which we hit the nail on the head with is you're literally going out of your way to break defined rules in your relationship. That's something that I agree upon, and I think that's at the root of everybody else's version of cheating.
Yes.
Right? When we're talking about breaking defined rules, whether you're in a monogamous relationship, a polytheistic, no, that's like God's polytheistic.
Yo.
But, you're a poly relationship or whatever.
Polyamorous.
Polyamorous, there you go, thank you.
All right.
Whatever you're doing, there's still rules. There's always going to be rules, right? Sure. And, I mean, no matter how liberal you are, how conservative you are, there's rules. And for some people, like, simply sending a sext is enough for grounds of dismissal and you're a cheater for life. Didn't actually do anything physical, intimate, anything like that.
Right.
For other people, it has to go to that level for it to be the last straw.
Right.
And for some people, it's somewhere in between. All I'm saying is, you're going out of your way to break defined rules, right? So when we're saying, why do people cheat? I think it's important to get into kind of, now that we've defined it,
yep,
what could be sort of some of the motivations behind that? So Max, what do you think?
I guess that applies more to guys, but I mean, obviously it applies to ladies as well. Maybe it's just like the feeling of the thrill is just, it's almost like a fisherman, like a sports fisherman. Like you don't fish to eat, but then you fish because like it's just your thing, and then you're like, well, I can go out, I can make it happen, and maybe you don't have that excitement anymore in that relationship, and you feel, well, instead of just breaking it all off because obviously you like that person, and for some odd reason, maybe the communication wasn't there, and you decide, well, you know what, I'm just gonna go on a whim, I'm just gonna act as if I'm like single, and I'm gonna go out, and then I'm gonna do this whole thing. And I'm pretty sure some people like have the pleasure of doing that, because their attitude is like, well, I like the fact that I can not only pull it off, but the fact that I'm not getting caught.
So it's kind of like, I would say to summarize, like an animalistic instinct, right? Like,
Yeah.
in the sense that you're out here and you're like, hey, if I can do this and I'm not gonna get caught, I'm just gonna keep doing it. Mm-hmm. Like you're a serial killer or some shit like that. Like, you know, until you get caught, it's whatever.
Like it's on.
But the one thing I will say is it segues into our second point, which is I want to say like the emotional side and kind of the emotional mentality behind it, right? Most of the time people are going to be cheating is because there's a breakdown in power dynamics within the relationship. Mm-hmm. And that's either when people get into relationships, for the most part, they're doing it because they either feel like they're on the same playing field as somebody, or they feel like they're slightly a leg up on their partner, right?
Yeah.
That's the mentality generally. Not necessarily in your case, but generally.
So it's literally like a balance.
Exactly. It's a balance, and if not, balance a little bit in your favor rather than being the latter.
That's
right?
fair. Yep.
All I would say is that when one of these huge shifts in power ends up happening, it throws the relationship into chaos.
But give us like an example.
So an example of that would be you lost your job at the mill.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You're the breadwinner. You're the girl in the relationship. You're the breadwinner. You lost your job.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Now all of a sudden your husband has to go. Your husband who was staying at home has to go and find a job. He finds part-time work. He starts becoming the breadwinner.
Yeah.
Now you're at home with the kids. He was a stay-at-home dad. Now you're a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
And now it's completely shifted the balance of power in your relationship because now he's expecting you to take on all the roles, everything like that. You don't feel as appreciated or valued because you feel like you're no longer the woman that you were when you were bringing home this quote-unquote bacon and everything like that and providing.
Right.
So you're going to seek that attention, right? You want to be that person again in somebody's eyes. And all it takes is that one dude that's been hitting up your DMs or one female that's been hitting up your DMs to basically be like, hey, you know, I still think you're great. And if you're not getting the same affection or emotional support or somebody stroking your ego that you were getting before, you know, somebody's going to creep or sneak into the DM and all of a sudden they're going to be relevant to that person, right? Who's in this kind of diminished mindset because they've had this shift of power in the relationship.
And to segue into when we're, you know, fulfilling emotions, well, there's another element to it, which is the physical part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Because again, if on your scenario, that person is kind of like feeling left out because, hey, I used to be, you know, up center. I was running things in the family because I was the breadwinner. Now I'm kind of like having to take care of the kids, and then now my husband is out working, and then now he gets home, he's tired, he doesn't want to do much, he doesn't want to do dates, he doesn't want to, because he's busy working, because he has to get used to his new role. And then now you're like, okay, well, I'm here, I'm making myself pretty, I'm keeping myself in shape.
And your needs aren't being met physically.
Yeah, the needs are not being met. And then you're feeling stuck. Because you're like, well, I try to talk to my partner and they're always tired, they're always busy, they're always whatever. And then it starts playing in your mind. It doesn't help that now with the internet and whatnot, literally.
It's easier to cheat than ever.
It is.
I would say.
Yeah, well, not only that, but it only, like, it always starts with like, okay, well, I want to make sure that people outside my the relationship I have, like, they would want me. Like I want to feel wanted.
Exactly. Good
And
point.
then, as like now you're craving that attention. Now that you get it, you start
you feel gratified. For
right,
sure.
and then you're gonna act on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then now the way you're gonna justify it to yourself is, hey, I spoke to my partner. Hey, I've been trying to do sexy things. Hey, I went to the sex shop. I went, maybe I even tried therapy. Like everything you've tried to make sure that it doesn't get to that point, and you're like, and now you can justify it in your mind because you're like, well,
I did everything
I did, but I don't want to break this bond because I obviously care for that person, and then I'm gonna go out and seek it.
I mean, on that note, I would say it's one of those things where your partner, and like I would say that I've seen enough Murderous Affair to know. I've seen enough Murderous Affair, which is a show on Netflix, to know that like this is a super valid point in the sense that everyone's out here and they feel that like this partner that they have is some sort of level, they're providing them with a level of emotional support and stability, right?
Yep.
Could be as simple as, in their mind, they're a great mom, but their physical needs aren't being met. Right. So what am I going to do? Okay, well, I don't want to leave her because she's a great mom. My emotional needs are being supported, but my physical needs aren't. So in their mind, the best thing for them to do is step out based on a physical need, right?
Yeah.
Not being fulfilled. That's kind of where we're going with that. To summarize and to close everything, I want to kind of dismantle, if you will, this whole cheater mentality, or like this once a cheater, always a cheater thing. It allows for everyone to be branded as just this label of like, you did something in the past,
right,
so you're past that, I feel like it's as simple as, in society there's rules. If you break them, there's consequences. If you break them in a relationship, it's the same thing. There's a consequence. Normally, the consequence is the termination of that relationship.
Yes.
Like, I can't stress that enough. Don't try to get away with it. Don't do anything. Have a conversation with your partner. So much, like, brokenheartedness, everything like that can be avoided. Absolutely. Just by you simply opening your mouth and saying, hey, I don't feel fulfilled in this sense or that sense, and try to work through it together.
Right.
If you value your partner, that's what you'll do.
Yes.
Right? But if we're talking about dismantling this cheater mentality, people can change. And that's my biggest issue with this, right? People pay their dues, or they learn from their mistakes. They learn from their mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's my personal opinion. Like, I can't hold somebody's past against them. And I feel like when people do that, or they use that trust issues on their relationship from previous experiences where they got hurt or something like that, and say, well, you're a player already. Yeah. So I shouldn't be getting involved with you just based off of the fact that you're a player in the past. It's not fair. People can change, and people are. There's the ability for reform, is what I'm getting at, right? If the love and the connection you have with the partner that you want to ultimately be with, people will move mountains for that. I think people have started wars, built entire civilizations, conquered new worlds just for these people that they care so much about. You're telling me people aren't capable of change? It makes zero sense to me. Okay,
but I mean, it makes me think about what we spoke about earlier, not earlier, but like in the previous video, we talked about are you addicted to bad relationship? And then one of the points that we have, it was kind of like, well, you need to be ready to be in a relationship, right? So it goes to your point, because like if you guys are like in the gist of like building it, and then you're hearing, oh well, I 2 relationship past, like this is what I did, and now like I've grown myself not to do that, to learn how to communicate and whatnot, and then you're kind of having like this flashback of, well, I heard this before, and then they're doing the same move as that other guy or that other girl I used to deal with, and then because of that I'm gonna dismiss it because it's easy to just do that than to have the conversation. So to your point, absolutely, like I think you have to give that person a chance, because like you weren't there, right? And then if they're telling you, hey, like I have changed, and the reason I'm actually telling you this is because I want to be honest and on the forefront, like why would you want to dismiss them for that? Because it would have been worse to just say, like, they lied to you from the start, and then you get to find out in a conversation that, oh wait, But when we spoke, you said that you never cheated, and then now I'm hearing you on the phone talking to your best friend or talking to whoever.
So all I'm hearing from you right now is that it boils down to lack of communication.
Yes.
You want to know why people cheat? I'll tell you right now, lack of communication.
Uh-huh.
You don't feel confident to express the views that you have to your partner and to let them know what you're going through or what's going through your mind.
But it's also convenient, to be honest.
It's not about convenience. It's like,
But
if the argument is saying that, okay, I stepped out because I could step out.
no, not like that. Because you said it's a lack of communication, and I agree with you. But some people, their lack of communication is because they don't want to bring that to the forefront. Like they don't want to have that difficult like.
So it's not that. It's them avoiding confrontation.
So if they are avoiding that, right now, what is easier? Is it like even on the clumsy things? And I'm not saying you should be doing that, but I'm saying it's way easier to just say, okay, I'm gonna step out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then to your point, it's literally, I don't want to have that confrontation. I don't want to deal with this. And then they'll step out, and then even if they get caught, and then they will blame it on the lack of communication. But it's funny because they're the one that didn't even communicate.
Yeah, fair. Hey guys, I'm Ray.
This is Max.
And this is Drunk Words, Drunk Thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate every view, comment, like, and when you guys hit that subscribe button and do what to the bell?
Gotta hit the bell. Bang. Let's go.
We appreciate everything.